The week it started, the forecast turned the neighborhood app into a weather command center. Storm icons, sandbag tips, and 1,000 comments about gutters. On the cul-de-sac, orange utility flags dotted my yard like confetti, flanking a muddy trench along the stormwater easement. An engineer's report had called my retaining wall tired. Water had been gnawing at it for years. Temporary barriers went up, caution tape, plastic fencing. Signs nobody reads until it's too late. My ring camera blinked day and night. That's when the HOA's favorite patrol walked through the frame. Clipboard against a rain jacket, the embodiment of compliance in walking shoes. She hovered at the fence line, agitated by the tape, the generator, the temporary pump that droned like a stubborn bee. She had filed 3 violation notices in 2 days for unsightly equipment. By dawn on day 3, the tape had been neatly rolled into a thrift store-sized bundle. The gate latch clicked. The storm gathered, and the first boundary gave way. The morning slid from gray into steel, the kind of sky that flattens time. The pump labored, hoses coiling like snakes toward the drainage basin behind the homes. I'd learned where the easement began, where it ended, and where everyone pretended it didn't exist. The HOA board had promised to review. The mud didn't wait. She returned with purpose, marching across my lawn, measuring tape flashing. The camera caught the same routine, a glance at the warning sign, a quick reach. The temporary fence nudged aside with practiced annoyance. Sandbags shuffled, extension cords coiled. The pump died mid-whir. The trench filled silently, 1 inch at a time. She snapped photos like trophies, no note left, just a glittering trail of raindrops. When I got home to a humming silence, the footage told the story better than any meeting agenda. Reporting it felt surreal. Trespass via homeowner improvement mindset. 2 patrol cars idled by dusk, tires hissing on blacktop. The cul-de-sac watched from windows. And the blue lights finally cut through the rain. The arrest unfolded with the clinical awkwardness of a neighborhood scandal. The clipboard became evidence. The shoes puddled on the asphalt. Faces glowed at windows, curtains fluttered. 1,000 whispered verdicts condensed into a few minutes of flashing light. The officers didn't need a speech. The footage spoke: trespass, tampering, a pattern. They guided her toward the cruiser while the rain picked up, relentless, uncaring. She twisted back toward the yard, arms rigid, a bundle of indignation and something else, something brittle around the edges. The words she threw into the storm came out like flares no one caught in time. A warning wrapped in fury that the officers waved off as theatrics. The cruiser door shut over her echo. Behind the houses, the basin surged, swollen with runoff from streets and rooftops, choked with a winter of leaves. The culvert that never made the budget became a throat clearing in the darkness. The tape flapped on the fence, useless, a ribbon on a fuse, and somewhere under the lawn the hillside shifted. It began as a ripple, then a sound, timbers groaning like a tired ship. The old retaining wall exhaled, bulging under a pulse of water that had nowhere to go. The mud moved with intent, slow at first, then faster, a heaving animal freed from its pen. Gardens became chocolate rivers. Planters bobbed and spun. The trench vanished under a brown surge that carried toys, bark, and history. The basin overtopped, a glass lip tipping into our cul-de-sac. Fences folded like postcards. A mailbox floated, polite flag still raised. A sedan listed as water hugged its tires. The ring camera, still rolling, caught a slow-motion disaster in 1080p, the kind of footage that makes news anchors clear their throats. The pump lay on its side, throat pinched. Cord unplugged exactly where the camera had memorized it. People ran, then stopped filming, shouting at nobody, aghast at the weight of everything we'd ignored. A roar answered from the drain behind the houses, deep and hollow. And every eye in the neighborhood swung to the basin we never funded. The videos hit group chats first, then the neighborhood app, then a local newsfeed hungry for a headline with HOA in uppercase. The story wrote itself. Trespassing enforcer, ignored easement, perfect storm. But the deeper rot surfaced with the mud. Meeting minutes revealed deferrals that stretched like taffy, culvert cleaning postponed, sediment removal table ready, emergency fund allocated elsewhere. The balance sheet glowed with landscaping bills. The stormwater line item slept. Then the receipts multiplied. Cameras up and down the block showed her on different mornings, cutting zip ties, lifting caution tape, tugging sandbags like they were weeds. In one clip, she hovered at the basin's grated throat, prodding at a mat of leaves that sealed it like a lid, then walking away when it didn't yield. The city inspector arrived wearing a raincoat and a frown. eyes taking in what had become obvious. Water respects no property lines, only physics and neglect. The HOA president called an emergency meeting. The chairs stayed empty, and the neighborhood waited for accountability to stop hiding behind Robert's rules. In the days after, the mud settled into our carpets and our conversations. Insurance adjusters drifted through like quiet ghosts, measuring, nodding, declining. The city posted bright notices: failure to maintain stormwater infrastructure, violations, fines. The HOA board resigned in a lump sum email with the tone of a farewell party nobody attended. A receiver stepped in, grim and efficient, assigning costs we all wished were theoretical. As for the trespasser, the charges multiplied in tandem with the footage. The warning she flung as the cruiser, door closed, took on a shape we finally understood. It wasn't prophecy. It was confession by omission, a last attempt to distance herself from the chain of cause and effect. She had tugged like a stubborn leash. The basin got dredged. A new culvert went in. The retaining wall became a legitimate wall under an engineer's signature. We formed a new committee, not for paint swatches but for water flow. We watched the creek more than the grass. And the cul-de-sac learned, in 6 chapters and 1,000 comments, that property lines are a fragile fantasy when the storm arrives.